Tonight, we move on now very quickly to this part of the show. I told you earlier on that this time we will be talking Copa America Centenario, and that's exactly what we want to do right now on this part of Sports Tonight. But I have my guest. They are joining me on the show. It's a long time we had Cecilia with us, but we are happy to have her back with us. And Tayo is back. Tayo was spot on for most of last week with his prediction of games, but things have turned around now, and we are not even sure anymore whether we could still refer to Tayo as a prophet or not. But Tayo is here, Sisi is here. Guys, it's time for us to talk Copa America Centenario on Sports Tonight. Yep. Tayo, the surprise, I'm sure over the weekend for you, we talked about it yesterday, but you were not around, it's Brazil.
Yeah, I mean, what's that to say again? I mean, very disappointing the manner in which they exited the tournament. Dunga is under a lot of pressure. I mean, he's been in the media today saying he doesn't really, he's not really worried. He's not bothered about his future, but he should be worried. I imagine when he returns to Brazil, he's going to have a lot, to answer for. No excuses at all. I mean, we saw the goal, controversial, should have been, disallowed. Yeah, but these things happen. Brazil didn't play well in the tournament at all, and that's why
and Brazil should have been playing for draw in the first place. They should have taken the game to Peru, scored a lot of goals. Yeah. That wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, so they only have themselves to blame. No excuses at all. It's been a terrible tournament for Brazil.
All right, so not just Brazil, it's also been a very terrible tournament for Uruguay. They came good yesterday, Sisi. They came good yesterday, 3-0 win, but it was a little too late. Let's start by showing you, Sisi. I'm going to come to you on that. Let's show you the results of games played yesterday. Final round of matches in Group C. We are now coming down to the business end of the competition. 2 teams in each group will go through. 2 teams will have to go home at the end of the group phase. And of course, for Group C, Mexico, Venezuela, more or less playing for pride. And yes, it was honors shared between those two, leaving Mexico to top the group. Yeah. But then, we'll talk about the tables later. Uruguay leaving it late, 3-0 over Jamaica. Sisi.
Consolation.
They actually snapped their 5-game winless streak in Copa America. It's not a good one for Uruguay. You know, we talked about the fact that when they were starting, with Luis Suarez having a hamstring, it seems to be the one that carries the country. Just like you have a Neymar in Brazil. Now, when you have countries like this, whereby they rely on one single player, it's always very, very difficult for them to excel because they feel with that player not there, the rest of them will not live up to the billings. We talked about Edison Cavani, that he can actually show up in this game, in this tournament, but we did not even see him. He didn't even score.
He didn't even come.
I mean,
he was here physically. Actually, he was here physically, but he wasn't here.
He wasn't there at all. So, I mean, check the players that even scored for them. 3 players that you're like, okay, where are they actually from? Where are these players from? The big players you expected to actually show up for Uruguay, they just couldn't do that. For the Jamaican team, well, okay, they came to this tournament, they just look at everywhere, and they had to go back, not even scoring a goal at all. Both of them are out of the tournament. It's a pity for Uruguayans. I expected them to at least maybe get out of the group stage, but not even going out at this stage at all. It's just too early for a country like Uruguay to be out of this tournament. They are the most successful team in this tournament. About 15 times they won the championship. So you're looking at Uruguay, you're asking yourself, what's going to happen to this team? What's going to happen to them?
Is this the end of the golden era?
Exactly.
Suarez is still young, and there's still a lot of years ahead of him, and they have a lot of young players coming through in Europe. So maybe time for them to have a rethink about getting a younger manager and bringing some breath of fresh air into their football. But let's take a look at the table now. Let's see how they ended Group C. Of Copa America. Mexico topping that group with 7 points, same with Venezuela, but the Mexicans have scored a lot of goals, so that puts them on top.
They have a +4 goal difference.
And then Jamaica, of course, finishing bottom of the group. No goals scored, no victories, all defeats. And Uruguay salvaging a little bit of pride, finishing in top place. The coach says now the attention will be on the 2018 World Cup qualifiers. Tayo, let's come to Group C very quickly, and the final round of games in Group C will be played in a few hours from now.
Group D,
but then already we can have an idea of who the teams that we feel
They are likely to go through.
Likely go through, but in football, I mean, experiences have shown that never say never. Wait until the referee blows the final whistle before you assume that the team has won a game or has lost a game.
Yeah.
All right, but definitely, Lionel Messi is back. We saw what he did.
Yeah. He had a cameo against
came in as a
Panama
sub and scored a hat-trick and all of that, and we're expecting that it will come good tonight, but it's a tricky one. Chile against Panama, Argentina against Bolivia. These are difficult games to call.
Yeah, first of all, let's just talk about the Chile versus Panama. It's a straight fight between these two for the second spot in Group D, because Argentina have qualified already. They have a maximum of 6 points from 2 games. So Chile, Panama, I mean, you think on paper Chile should, go on and win this one convincingly. Chile, third in the world, according to the FIFA rankings. Panama are way, way down in 52. So in terms of, pedigree, these two sides are not on the same level. So you expect Chile, Alexis Sanchez still hasn't had a coming out party yet. You're expecting, to really, stamp his authority in this kind of game. Eduardo Vargas as well. So Arturo Vidal has been the leader, of this Chile side. I expect him more of the same from Arturo Vidal against Panama. So I expect Chile to beat Panama, probably, come second.
Is there going to be any prize for guessing right, Sisi? What will happen in that game between Argentina and Bolivia? But before you do that, I still want to talk a little bit about Chile.
Yeah.
It's tricky for them. Yes, their destiny is in their own hands. But it could be tricky for them if they fail to read the plot.
Yeah, definitely against Panama. Arturo Vidal has already conceded, saying that Panama, they are a very physically strong side. So when you have that at the back of your mind, I think they actually know what to do. Definitely one of the players returning from injury, Marcelo Diaz, so he will be playing in this game. That also will give them a boost. But for Panama, 2 of their players are actually suspended for this particular game. Felipe Bolle and Amado Copa, both of them are suspended. And we have Anibal Gode was sent off in another game. So they're actually a depleted side now. So I think Chile, they actually know what to do, because they know that for them, there's actually no excuse at all. You're playing Panama, a country that you say when it comes to football, it's not top there. And outside that, you lost your opening game, to Argentina, and you know that you actually need to win this one, to take a ticket up there. I think definitely they're going to win this one.
Yeah, Tony, the last time they met was in 2010. Chile beat Panama 2-1. It goes to show you that these games are not easy, even though on paper it appears that Chile are the stronger side. I think for me, Tony, I don't know if you agree with me, if Chile exit the tournament at the group stage, it's going to be a bigger shock than Brazil actually going out, because Chile...
they are the defending champions. Yeah. They are the defending champions, and they won it on home soil last year. But let's talk about the other team.
Argentina,
now that Brazil are not going to be playing any further parts in this competition, Uruguay are not going to be here anymore. Everybody's beginning to look at Argentina as the firm favorite now to go all the way. But they have to do the little business tonight of taking out Bolivia. Yeah. How well they do the business against Bolivia tonight, Tayo, will probably reinforce this assertion that Messi will finally come good this time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's looking like. And a lot of people are looking at Lionel Messi, that is still yet to win a major with Argentina. But against Bolivia, I mean, you expect Argentina to beat Bolivia. They haven't lost to Bolivia since 2009. That was a long time ago. Remember that very famous game where they lost by 6-1? High altitude and all that, walk qualify. That was the last time they lost to Bolivia, and I don't think it's going to happen again this time around. Lionel Messi, came on as a sub against Panama, scored 3 goals. I hear he might be on the bench again today. That's according to the coach, Gerardo Martino. It's all about actually resting him when it's actually needed. Then they'll bring him on. So Chile, Argentina versus Bolivia. I think Argentina will win that one. I think it's going to be a maximum 9 points out of 9 for Argentina.
Well,
this
round of games in a few hours will now bring to an end the first round of the Copa America. All group games will now be over. We now know those teams that are going to progress to the next round. Mexico top their group. They will be keeping their eyes on the game in a few hours, hoping that Argentina can also come good so that we avoid a potential final in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean,
Chile or Panama. I mean,
if you ask them to choose, do you want to play Chile? Do you want to play Argentina? Who do you want?
They don't want Argentina right now, surely. They don't want Argentina. And they've done their own beats, by topping the group. So it's left for Argentina now, to try and top that group as well. Because believe me, Argentina don't want to meet Mexico in the quarters, not just yet. So Argentina would do well to top the group so they can avoid each other, probably meet, in the latter rounds of the competition.
All right, that's how we have to wrap it up on this part of the show. We want to also to keep this conversation going on social media. Tell us what you think will be happening tonight, the final group of games in Group D. Who tops the group? And what do you see going forward in Copa America Centenario? Guys, I must thank you for your time. Tayo, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah,
Cici, good to have you on Sports Tonight once again after a long while. I hope we see you more regularly. And for you, we'll be back with more on Sports Tonight. Join us again.